Hello friends, welcome back or welcome to my channel. This is Louisiana Cooking and Living, and we are going to take a quick trip to New Orleans for the night and stopping for gas right now, but we thought we'd take you along for our adventures, places we're going to eat, things to a couple things we like to do and see while we're down in New Orleans. So hope you enjoy this little outing that we're taking, and we'll be back as soon as we get to the first stop. So here we are crossing the Bonnet Spillway. This is where water will be released from the Mississippi River and out into the Lake Pontchartrain in order to relieve pressure on the river. And as you can see right here, there is no water. We have been so dry. Not very little rain this year. We are coming into New Orleans, and if you notice these trees, these are all cypress trees that were stripped of their leaves and branches during Hurricane Katrina. The trees trunks are still standing here, but they are obviously not alive. You can see some occasional bird nest, eagle nest up at the tops of the trees, but the leaves and branches are all gone. And here we are coming into New Orleans, and the river, the interstate slips there and goes south. This is an iconic cemetery here in New Orleans. New Orleans is below sea level, and so the graves are, as you can see here, above ground. If they were to bury them below ground, they would rise up with the water tides. This one's along the interstate. Next we're going to come, this one is where Canal Street ends at the end of the cemetery here. I think those are very interesting. So these are shotgun houses. They are long and skinny, and they're named that because if you stood in the front door and shot a gun through the house, it would go out the back door, and that was meant for ventilation. So this is Parkway Tavern, where we stopped to eat our dinner that night. This restaurant has been in business since 1911, and it's famous for their po' boys, roast beef po' boy, called the Brie po' boy. So here we are ordering, and here we have some fried pickles and that roast beef po' boy. I don't get mine full dress. Full dress is mayonnaise, tomatoes, pickles, and lettuce. My husband got sweet potato fries.
Alicia, are ready?
This is always even though we got the half size, they were big enough. It was very good.
Next one?
Yeah. Okay, so this is a streetcar. Later on, we're going to take a ride down a streetcar, the St. Charles line, and I'll show you some sights along the streetcar. But this is Canal Street here, and this is one of the streetcars. This is the World War II Museum in New Orleans. We didn't go in today, but I'm going to insert some pictures from when we visited previously. And very interesting, it takes a few days to go through it. All these bricks here have names inscribed on them of people that served in World War II. Family members can donate money to have those. These are some bricks close up, have their names on these bricks. This is the, some pictures here, a flag that was inside. They have a lot of aircraft in this building right here across the street from the main building. Okay, so we are going to walk one block down, and there is a Civil War museum over here called the Confederate Memorial Hall. I don't think a lot of people really know it's over here because when we visited, there hasn't been a lot of visitors in this museum. And this museum is one of 4 museums that Jefferson Davis, who was the only president of the Confederate States of America, his wife donated all of his belongings to 4 different museums, and this museum was one of the 4 that was donated to. This museum has been in existence since 1893, and outside the front of the museum is a cannon that greets you, and that cannon was from the Civil War around 1865, it says in the notes here. And this museum has clothing, uniforms that were worn by the officers and military of the war. It has weapons, it has guns, bullets, items of everyday life, their mess kits, their personal belongings, some flags, belongings of the generals Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, Braxton Bragg, and Franklin Gardner. There's some battle flags in there. There's paintings, prints, and photographs of soldiers, all kinds of interesting artifacts in this museum. I really enjoy history. This is a video from the side of the museum, this pretty building. I really love history and museums, and so I really like to visit that one. And here's the World War II Museum again. The left is a building that's 3 stories, I think, and then the right shows, this is a statue of Anne Frank. Anyway, the right side of the building is where all the aircraft is. This is the hotel we stayed at. It's called the Roosevelt. And the Roosevelt is super interesting. It was built in 1893, and at the beginning it was only 6 stories high and only 200 rooms. And it had been renovated a few times over the years. It is very beautiful inside. These crystal chandeliers, all the gilding, the crown moldings, the tile floors. Now checking up here. 14 stories with 5 level floor rooms and 23 ballrooms in this hotel. It's very beautiful. It was named after, obviously, President Roosevelt. Originally it wasn't called that, but that's what it's called now. Very pretty. So here we are on the streetcar. We are on the St. Charles line. It was started in 1835. It's, I think, the longest running streetcar. And I just love the architecture of these homes. There's so many different styles of architecture in New Orleans. Anywhere from Victorian to craftsman style. We're going to see Queen Anne house in a minute. There's some Tudor houses. The one thing you'll notice in these houses, most of them are built up. Again, this is Loyola University here. This is on St. Charles. But just like the graveyards, the houses were built up. Even if it's a couple of steps, they were built up so that they could avoid some of the floodwaters whenever the rains were too heavy for the drainage system to accommodate. But there's just such a variety of houses here. Even just going down this one street, you have these little houses here that are just a modest house, and then you come across a mansion. And we'll see a few of those mansions. Beautiful ornate iron workings, gingerbread on the Victorian houses. Just very pretty. I just love coming down here. We are going to come across the zoo, actually. So, this is the Audubon Zoo. It's named after John James Audubon. They also have the aquarium downtown. Here's the zoo here. This is just the beautiful oak trees out here in the front. Just the green area. There's a lot of green areas, green spaces in New Orleans, even though it's a city kind of in New York with City Park, Central Park, sorry. This is the zoo. Audubon painted many of the wildlife we have here in Louisiana. And so the zoo is named after him. We have the aquarium. Pretty sure we still have the insectarium. We visited that with my kids when they were younger, but I'm not sure. I mean, that's the house right there. Nope, that's not the Queen Anne style, sorry. The Queen Anne style is coming up. It's got this rounded room that juts out from the side. It's amazing. But you can just see the different architecture and all these houses. Just very interesting. Beautiful oak trees. These houses have been here since, that's the Queen Anne right there. Probably some of them since the 1800s, maybe even the 1700s. Another Queen Anne there. Some people are still under construction. Hurricane Ida hit in 2021, I think. And people are still renovating from that. click-clack of a streetcar as it goes by. It was very hot this day. I think it was up to 100 degrees, and we were riding the streetcar with the windows open, no air conditioning. It was pretty hot that day, but it was something to see. This is Tulane University. No, actually, this one's not Tulane University. At some point, we passed Tulane. Some old churches were mixed in here. I think one of them said they were from the 1700s. I should have written down the date. Pretty painting on those coming up. Just such unique architecture here. It's such a mixture of different styles. I know this is a long part of the video, but I really enjoyed this. Watching these houses. Alright, this is the Mississippi River. That's the bridge, and here we are looking at one of the river boats. They operate riverboat cruises. You can take dinner cruises, lunch cruises, even spend the night on the riverboat cruise and cruise up and down the Mississippi and see different plantations and sites along the Mississippi River. This is the calliope crane up on top, pulling people to the ship. Even though it was hot, it's a pretty day to be out walking the streets. This is a sugar kettle that they would use to melt down sugar cane and make sugar that we use today. This is, we're looking at St. Louis Cathedral there across Jackson Square. We're going to walk around the square in just a second. Pretty gardens again. Alright, these are Pontalba buildings that line Jackson Square. They were built from 1849 to 1851, and they are 4 stories high. And the bottom story is shops and restaurants, and the apartments are above. And they are the longest continually rented buildings in America. This was the presbytery. There's a building that's just like on the other side of the cathedral here. That is the Cabildo, which is the site of the signing of the Louisiana Purchase. This is inside the cathedral. Very pretty building here. It was built in the 1800s also. The presbytery was built in 1813, and it housed the Louisiana Supreme Court. Beautiful stained glass in this cathedral. Okay, this is Central Grocery. It has been under reconstruction, I guess, since Hurricane Ida in 2021. It was opened in 1906, and these are the famous muffuletta sandwiches with ham, salami, mortadella, Swiss, provolone, olive salad, and they are all sesame Sicilian loaf. this building I want to take a picture of just because I liked how they had the German flag outside and show their history, whether it's, even though it's Louisiana, there's such a melting pot, is what Louisiana is called, of the different ethnicities. So here's the Mississippi River again. There's the ships that are coming in. All this grassy area you see here is typically going to have water over it. That's how dry we are. This is on the Mississippi River side of the spillway. In a minute, we're going to turn around and look at the locks, which is so all this grassy area here. There's some cars there. Would typically have water on it, and then this wooden structure over here is the locks, where they let the water through over to Lake Pond. I hope you enjoyed this short little tour of New Orleans, and if you enjoyed this, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel and follow along every Thursday, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.